son. Okay, so we're on. I'm Chad Edward. I'm here right now with, I want to say Ralph and Marsha Ring, but is it?
Well,
That's the way it's pronounced.
in 3D, I guess you could say that, but
Okay.
we're 5D. Sorry.
Right. Okay. So we have Ralph, Marsha, and Chad here. And Beth is on our audio and video technician over here, videotaping us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're here today at their home in Tucson. Well, Green Valley.
Green Valley.
Outside of Tucson. And Ralph and I have come together because of a person that we met years ago named Don Toney. And Marsha also knows Ralph. I don't know if they met him together or what the story. We're about to find out the whole stories. You know, my story, his story, her story. And it's all about Don Toney because we're here to promote the books that we're going to have coming out. Okay, the first book is on its way. And there's a series of 49. I doubt if we're going to get all 49 books out, but we're going to try and get the first 7 books out within the next year or two. All right. And I believe these videos are going to help us promote and get people to understand who Don Toney was, why he was here, how long he's been coming back to help people on this planet. And I'm going to let Ralph or Marsha, whoever wants to speak first, to tell who, you know, how they met him, who they, you know, whatever you want to.
I'd like to start because we gave Ralph an 80th birthday party out at, it was a mansion out in Magellan near Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
And Don Toney and Babette were invited to come, and that's when we met them. They were invited to come by Rahasha and Dara, who are
And you guys were living in Paradise at the time.
lived in Paradise. And we met him. I guess Don Toney had heard about Ralph for many years, and he wanted to meet him. Well, that became, we became friends.
Oh, right
because of
away.
that.
Right
Yeah.
away.
Right.
We could
There
feel
was a
each other.
connection.
Same thing with me.
Don Toney was every, I think, Thursday. He went fishing. He lived in Orville. He came over to Paradise, to the lake, and went fishing. And he wanted to share his fish with us. And we couldn't leave.
I've had them before too. Fabulous.
I don't know why we couldn't leave, but he brought his cooking, everything.
He brought
He
everything to our house and cooked them
for
and
us.
did everything right in our little home.
Yeah.
He just sharing like crazy with us, about everything. And he was not quitting until he had at least 50 fish. Because they're small.
Oh, I've seen pictures of them too.
They're good.
He and Babette going out there catching the fish, and
Oh man!
it's amazing.
And then they'd come by and we have a little festival, and talk about everything that's important. Just let's get into it. Like kind of, where are we? What are we doing here? And what can we do now to just stimulate everybody else to. Come on, let's wake up and play again. We're fooling around here.
Right.
So, and it was good every time we met with him. So then we started inviting him over to Black Bear restaurant we had in Paradise.
He loved the Black Bear.
He loved it. So we'd invite him over to Black Bear restaurant.
Yep.
And again, we'd stay there for hours and get into things.
Yeah.
And he cooked for us at Babette's house one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Shirley was still alive. And
Right.
yeah, Don Toney's wife Shirley was alive, and she was there at Babette's when he cooked for us there.
So that was the beginning. Was 1980, and I believe he passed January 2nd of 2019 when he was 95. So you guys got to know him for at least 15 years.
I didn't realize it had
Yeah.
been that long, but we
Long time.
met. Babette was always with them, but we were with Shirley quite often at our functions. We went over to the casino and met.
Oh yeah,
over
he
there a
liked
few times. Yeah,
they like pot roast at the casino, so we
Yeah.
take them to the casino for pot roast,
Yeah.
and we visited there, and just wherever it felt good, we'd go and have conferences together. You know, and it was quite beautiful because we knew each other's heart. It's quite subtle to get into, and it brings you to tears sometimes when we realize where we are and where we should be and could be. But that should and could go out of the way, and we're learning things now that are so important for what we're about to approach. So it's okay, everything's fine,
Right.
and we accept it. So
and from the meetings, and Don Toney and Babette told us about the meetings at his home about the books, and they were closed meetings.
oh, he insisted on that we
And-
come to the meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the meetings were spectacular. I mean, he just
And he taped, they're on CD now, not tape, a lot of the meetings with the Zoom recorder, and he has all the students, it's like a question and answer. He went through the books. So people are going to be able to not only read the books, they're going to be able to get the DVDs to just listen along to what it was like to have him as a teacher.
And he was amazing. He could answer anything that anybody asked him. I mean, anything.
Yeah.
And it was all just matter of fact. I mean, he had done so many things.
Right.
In so many places, and I love his first story about how he was
with
12,
a tree.
Yes.
The way
12
he
years or 8 years? 12
He was
years.
12 years old.
And he would sit because he got in trouble. I think he lived with
everybody
his
didn't want to
grandparents.
listen to a kid. He didn't know nothing. So get out of here and go play. And so he found a tree that accepted him. He sat down by the big tree and he told us the story of how the tree came to him,
A pine tree. A tall,
pine
tall
tree, big pine, and offered him the peace of mind that he was seeking
Started talking to him. the
and
tree.
Yeah.
the knowledge necessary to proceed
That was
without
amazing.
fear.
He told me, I think about 8 years he spent talking to that tree when he could go. And,
8 years, wow.
yeah, long time.
And the tree took him into its consciousness, and together they roamed through the life of trees. They are all family. They're all connected. They are all one as we are all one. So you cut one tree, the others are influenced by it. So you have to be careful how you prune or how you approach trees. You know.
Not just trees, any part of nature.
Yeah, any part of nature.
We're all connected.
Yes.
And so he shared that with us, like, you know, it would oh gosh, there's so many, some of it's beyond words because I knew his feelings. And he said, well, he took me up through the root system and up through the how the water comes up. It's not like people think, oh well, there's this. No, it's not like that. It's different. And he explained to us how the water gets to the leaves.
And if you get his books, you'll be able to understand even more. Because Ralph, Marsha, and I aren't going to do justice to what Don Toney has taught
that's
us.
true.
If you read his books, you'll start understanding some of the intricate details of what he, not only the trees, but our bodies.
Yeah.
Okay, how they're designed.
And then he did pair that with the human system. He said the principle of life is all one, and any way you look at it, you'll come back to the one. So above, so below, and the body works on the same principle that everything else grows, and maybe a difference in appearance or a difference in texture or thoughts, but we all have our frequencies, and if we let go, we can communicate quite easily with each other without words, like, oh, I know what you mean, I know what you mean. And so we got along great with Tony because we moved into his aura field, and he moved into ours. And Babette was always there, but she was a little hesitant, and rightly so, because it was talk like.
She was one of his students years ago.
Yes.
And her and her ex-husband were both his students. And, she didn't become his wife till after his wife passed. Shirley, I think her name was.
Shirley, yes.
Shirley, yeah. And Babette's still, her mission here too is to get these books out. As ours is, because, we all were committed to helping humanity learn what he taught us.
And the books that were written are so simple that he's pointing at, try to just help people relax and see beyond the appearance of the book, beyond the book itself. And how are you feeling when you are aware of this? You'll notice your feelings will change as he goes into different things.
Right. And the way he explained it to me, I know we're going to have, this isn't going to be the only interview. We're going to do more when we can talk about other subjects. Sure. But, we talked about all these years that these yogis, and they're doing all good things on this planet to try and to raise people's spirituality.
Yes.
And he told me a story. I don't know if he told you the same story, but the Father has asked him for the last 2,000 years, he's been coming back to this planet. And he's been helping and teaching or whatever. And it's this time around, he told me this is his last hurrah. He's never coming back to planet Earth. And we'll get to this after he told me who he was and why he's here, just like I'm telling you now. The yogis have been doing it in a different way, but people aren't getting it because they have to meditate for 30 years and 40 years. And he came here to teach us how to put on our light bodies. And he did it in such a way that it took him the 2,000 years to put it all together in these books. It took that long for people to understand it. And he wrote it in such a way, just like Ralph said,
you can understand.
That people can understand it. That's why they're so important. And it's not just a regular spirituality book.
No, it's not. It's a real life. I mean, he was telling what the experiences that he actually lived, in all the different places he'd been. And I know that's why he could answer any question that was given to him during the classes. It was a great thing to be there with him.
He used metaphors like the indigenous people, all those storytellers, and they pass them down from one generation to the other because they want to give you a picture.
Right.
Not just a word.
Right.
And he would, in his classes, we would sit and listen to him, but then we begin to see what he was talking about, and we want more and more and more because it was just so beautiful.
Jesus did the same thing. He used to speak in metaphorical stories, allegories, they call them, so people could get that picture.
Yeah.
And
because then they're getting it. They're not in one ear and out the other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I can talk more about, because I was with him at a different time, at the end of his life here on this planet, 2 months before he passed. And because I could probably do a couple videos later without you guys and explain, but we're going to try and get as much as we can in here.
Sure.
What else when you were in some of the classes?
Well, he always had exercises to help us, daily exercises, breathing exercises. All of these things are in the books, and they're no, I don't know if they're going to be in the.
Yes, they're going to be there with the exercises.
Yes, and the exercises are really how to get the light, how to bring the light forth out of our inner self and into our beingness.
Awareness.
Yes.
Right. The major one is called the holy breath.
Yes.
He starts. And I think the first book is 7 series, and it has 7, I think, exercises in it in the first one. So very powerful, and people are going to start to understand what the breath is about, what the yogis have been teaching all these years. Everything is in the breath, the chi, the prana that we're breathing in.
And he explains all of it very well and
Simply.
simply. Yes, very easy to understand. Maybe because we were at this level of experience, but I do believe that people that really delve into the first book can get it.
Right.
If their tendency to be the metaphysicians that they want, and they want to become that light. This is how to do it.
It's how to put on our light bodies so we can travel the universe.
Yes.
And Ralph knows what it's like to fly a ship telepathically, and it wasn't the light body at that time,
No.
but pretty darn close.
And it's actually simple when you realize that along with everything else that we perceive externally, traveling through time is quite simple, because just accepting the fact that it doesn't really exist, you can go from here to there by realizing you're already there, and just change your state of mind,
Right.
and you show up. Retaining it is different, because each corridor that you go through, as one door, as a door opens, it also closes to keep you focused on your present moment.
Yep.
But there has been times when both of us have, just for a second or two, we could see, oh, we're there and here at the same time. We could see both dimensions very nicely. And then it would close, and then, oh no, we're here now.
Yeah, because it's hard to stay in
Yeah.
both of them at the same time.
And he told us, he said, don't try to do anything. He said, you're trying too hard to live life, and you're creating tremendous resistance. Let go and let life live you.
Right.
It will come through you if you will accept it, and it will guide you. You don't have to think.
No.
You don't have to try.
Right.
It just happens
Yeah.
when you open yourself to acceptance. You know.
Yeah. One of my teachers under Mary Bakeretti, who we talked about before in the Christian Science that I used to study, she said, if you try, you're going to have a trying experience. So don't try.
Yeah.
Just do.
Yeah. Just be.
Just be. Yeah. Amazing. So, well, you did some of the classes at his home
Yes.
in Oroville. So you traveled from Paradise to Oroville a lot. And you met a lot of the other students there.
Yeah, we met the other students. A lot of them were understanding the words, but we didn't. He had a little. I wouldn't say difficulty, but he had a little challenge to get others to see with the simplicity, because they take it and try to complicate it, like. And almost contradict, like, well, no, and instead of relaxing and feeling what he's trying to share, they were trying to outthink him. I mean, we could see that in the class on a few people.
Right. Well, it's like we talked about it at lunch earlier, or was it today or yesterday? We talked about William Tompkins. Before he passed, he says we have to unlearn everything we've ever learned on this planet, because it's all a lie.
Yeah.
Really, and then we can see it again in a different set of eyes.
And in the words, and he liked Goldsmith too. He
Joel Goldsmith
shared Goldsmith with us, because he read a lot of Goldsmith. He said, "Remember to die daily, every day, in every moment if you can, but die daily, because you are creating your own expression of life." And it doesn't exist after you shut it off and let life be. But once you die daily and let life live you, you're into a realize
Yes.
situation, realize pertaining to the pituitary.
We talked about that. Real eyes, not the two eyes.
Yeah,
The
realize. And when you are seeing things with your realize, it's everything is beautiful, everything is wonderful. There's nothing that isn't.
Isn't, right?
Yeah.
And people don't know who Joel Goldsmith was. I mean, you obviously know. He's not here with us either. But he was one of Mary Baker Eddy's students.
Yes,
And
he was.
Don Toney told me the story. He knew Mary Baker Eddy.
Oh, wow,
And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and we talked about, if you watch my video, a man that worked with Nikola Tesla, I think, on my chamanshaman.com YouTube channel, he mentions Mary Baker Eddy and how she got the colors wrong. You know, how we talk about the rays. And
Yeah.
It's all in the books. And he had to correct her on it a little bit. Okay.
I
Mary
didn't
Baker.
realize
Oh,
that.
yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot we're both going to learn even today that we both didn't know.
What was interesting with Don Toney, he actually had lunch with Nikola Tesla
Yeah.
the day before he passed.
Yeah.
Before
And was
he died.
planning dinner.
And they had a dinner date, and he passed before the dinner date.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so
He
that
told me,
was-
yeah, he wanted to spend more time with him.
Yeah.
But another thing most people don't know, he was part of the Philadelphia experiment,
Oh, yeah.
Don Toney, okay? He was there as part of Navy intelligence to just oversee the project, okay? And he told me what happened and wasn't a good sight, okay?
Montauk, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember.
yeah. And the other thing was, a lot of people don't know about him. President Trump, President whoever today, they have the Secret Service to protect them. Okay, well, Franklin Delano Roosevelt had Don Toney as protection for a
I
few
didn't know
months.
that. No.
Oh.
Don Toney, and also Eisenhower. He didn't spend much time with FDR. There's other stories that we'll get into later, he told me. And he spent more time with Eisenhower because, as you know, he knew what people were going to say before they said it. So he knew what was going to happen before it happened. So he was their protection for a while until he didn't do it anymore. I think he was with Eisenhower for about 6 months, he said. So we got to know him pretty well. And not too many people know. The other thing he said, he wanted to be as common as dirt. Nobody really knew who Don Toney was.
No, he didn't. He didn't want to be in conferences or anything like that.
Right.
But he did want his students to read and to study. I believe when we came to class, it was a closed class, and these students had been with him either 2 or 3 years studying,
Right.
and he allowed us to come in, to that class. But nobody else. Well, I think Dan Fernando came in.
Oh, Dan,
maybe
yeah.
about the same time we did. I don't remember.
And
well.
he's still with us now.
Yeah.
He's one of
yes,
our
yes.
group.
Yeah, and he came in. He was allowed to come in, but
Yeah.
there weren't too many. I don't know when Becky came in, but I think she'd been a
Oh,
student for quite a
she's-
long time.
Yeah, but he wanted to stay as common as dirt, and he told a few of us why. And if we'll let the cat out of the bag, I don't know in this interview, but maybe another one, who he was and why he came here, and he's still looking over us. And as you know,
Contacting different ones of us, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we keep on doing what he wanted us to do. So, I don't know if any questions, or I don't know, maybe we left something out that. No? Okay.
Well,
Oh,
we-
you know what? I had my sheet I didn't even look at. See if I have any questions here that we might. So how you met Don? We went through that.
He talked about the tree and how the tree made him self-realize things.
Yes.
The tree taught him how to actually experience things in real life, like what it was like to be in the human body.
Yeah,
So that's how he knows things. He knows them. The tree taught him how to just know things because he experienced it.
Yeah.
One thing that I remember him telling us too, he was quite a fisherman when he was a young boy. And he used to have people, fishermen, come to him and take them and he would be their guide. You remember that
Yeah.
story? And I guess he made quite a bit of money. I don't know if he was. It was about that area, maybe 10 or 11
Well,
years old.
He had that Christ energy. We
Yes.
talked about that at the dinner table today. The Christ, the charisma.
Yes.
Jesus, when he put the net on the right side of the boat and all these.
Yeah.
Don Toney had the same.
When he would fish,
Qualities.
he would come once a week over to Paradise from Orville and go fishing. And he probably wouldn't stop fishing until he got 47
Yeah.
or 50
Yeah.
of these little bluegill.
Yeah, the fish
Bluegill.
just wanted to jump in his net, I'm sure. Right?
And he always had it every
Yeah.
week. Every time he went to the lake, he had all of these, and we saw them.
Oh,
and
I
he
know.
fed us
Yeah.
from his fish, and they were wonderful.
Yeah, bluegill. He
Bluegill.
loved the bluegill, and he made me some one night. It was great.
And that was he was pretty amazing. I mean, sometimes, excuse me, sometimes Babette would go fishing with him,
Right.
and but a lot of times he and his son would go, and that was his weekly thing,
Right.
coming over with his boat and going out in the lake and catching.
Bring
and-
his boat all the way over there.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and feed us and go all the way back.
Yeah, it's still there in Babette's barn,
And-
garage.
And I think he was, I think at that time he was 90 or 91. He was doing that all the time.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was still in his 90s
Yeah,
fishing.
her and
Yeah. Wow.
Babette and himself going all the time. There's a lot more to talk about, but I think we'll save some of the stuff that he told me about how he grew up and his grandfather and father and him
Yes.
going to, Baghdad and the Himalayas and all these places. I'll save that for another story, but so we're going to keep people a little in suspense, I hope. So they'll listen to some of the other
Interested in
videos.
The
Oh,
books.
yeah,
The
yeah.
books are going to be beautiful books, and I can't. We do have some chapters of the books we had to go through. They're amazing books, and the tapes, and him. Some of his voice is going to be given
It's
on
his
DVDs
voice
or
and the
something.
vibration of
Yes.
his voice, and just being
Yes.
near him, you can feel.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know if Babette has any pictures we can put out there, but the only video that I ever had of him is when I met you guys in Mount Shasta.
And they were
And I
there.
asked him, I said, why are you here? He says, well, I'm here to listen to one of my students, Ralph Ring. And that's when I met you guys. And that's the only video I have of Don Toney. So if anybody, like I said before, if they want to listen to it and see him and hear his voice, we have the tapes. We're going to do workshops along with the books. Hopefully we're going to have a website that people want to come
Yeah,
to.
and that's going to be soon, I think.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's getting there.
yeah, yeah,
So the wheels are turning slowly, but they're turning.
yes.
So
He would always say, life just is, and stay with is. And what do you mean stay with is? Well, and he'd explain it. You remember that? Never accept any doubt on any level, no matter what it is. Because everything in its own frame of reference, a very important thing that he was sharing with, I got this from Carr and from Tesla, but that everything exists in frames of reference.
right.
And that's why we get into arguments, because we're on different levels trying to solve something. You can't solve it there. You've got to get on the same frequency, and it's like the figures 6 and 9 sitting across from one another at a table.
Well, here's
Well,
Tate.
I wasn't talking about you.
He
That's
wants
our
to-
dog's Tate. He's our service. He's my service dog. He's my little boy. Oh, he's such a baby. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He wanted to join us.
He would explain is that let is be. Don't try to improve it. Don't try to even think about is.
Right.
Just be who you are, and everything else will be okay.
Well, another thing before we go, it just dawned on me. You have a website, So if people want to learn more, they want to contact us, and we can maybe email them back, or I don't know, call us by phone, and they want more information. Your website is what?
BlueStarEnterprise.com.
BlueStarEnterprise.com. Just one word altogether.
One word.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And same thing with mine. I have DivineQuantum.com. One word.
Divine Quantum.
Divine Quantum. And Shaman.com. One word. Shaman. Yeah, like Shaman, toilet paper.
I can remember that.
And Shaman, SHAMAN.
That's yours too?
Yep. Two
Two of
websites. Yep. We're going to combine them into one pretty soon.
Remember
I'll write it down after this.
Yep. So if people want to contact us and learn a little bit more until we have a website for, it's probably going to be called Universal Everlasting Life.com, we think. So that'll be coming out pretty soon. And I'm trying to think of anything else I might have left out for this video.
Well, on the is thing, I hadn't quite finished it.
Yep.
He was kind of, and I have to metaphor here because I don't remember exactly everything that happened, but it's the same frequency as the existence of the 6 and the 9 sitting across from one another. That on one side of the table, because that's all they see, is a 6. On the other side is the 9, and the same thing. Now they can really get in. They can go to war over. No, this is a 9. You can't tell me that's a 6. And you get into it. Don't go there. Everything is true in its frame of reference. So take the time, like Marsha taught me. Look at it a different way. Don't try to enforce your way. Well, I know I get loud and he tries to.
He's trying to overdo you.
I'm busy. I'm busy, baby. I'm busy right now. I know, sweetheart. So, what Marsha shared with me is look at it a different way. And that ties into what I've always felt. Well, I got to walk in your shoes before I understand, and then I'll try to do that. Well, that became reinforced when I met her, and she kept saying, look at it differently. And I said, all you have to do is walk around the table and vice versa to see that you're both talking about the same thing. So enjoy it.
Right. And just what you were talking about, it just dawned on me that Don Toney told me something I showed him my Palladian necklace, and also the ones that the Andromedans gave us, and it goes along with your is and your 6-9. Okay. So I showed him the Palladian nuclear receptor that my buddy Rob Potter sells on his site. I got a couple on my site, but I'm not really into selling these things. And this one is the Andromedans gave us. And if you look at it, Don Toney says the same thing that you just said about is and about the 6-9. It's a manifestation tool that Andromedans gave us. It's 180 degrees out of phase. And once you get to that, the 6, the 9, okay, right in the middle, that's the sweet spot where we realize.
Wow, look at that, honey.
That's beautiful.
Yep. But yeah, that's part of the is. And once we start understanding this stuff and getting to understand it a little bit, we'll go, wow, I could have had a V8 type of thing. You remember that? Oh,
Yeah.
Wow, I could have had a V8, that saying. So,
well, we've increased our awareness through Tony, immeasurable percentage.
100-fold, I know.
And it's just like so simple. So simple. Just allow life, love, God, whatever you want to call this thing. That's
Light,
creator.
love, and life. That's what he preached.
Come through you and get out of the way with your doubts or your fears, because it's slowing you down. It's slowing everybody down. And he says, you never have to argue about anything. Always talk it, feel it over. and you'll be a gentleman or a lady, and
Just
and
agree to disagree with people if that's what you got to do.
Yes.
But don't
yeah,
fight.
no idea of fighting at all. Just, and we're still working on a few things like pass the salt, honey, and well, I'll do it in a minute. I'm busy. And
I want it now.
I want it now.
Great. Well, we thank you guys. It's been great
Thank
spending
you.
the last couple days
Oh,
with you, man.
Thank you
It's
so much.
And thank
fantastic.
you for introducing it to your lovely lady, Beth. We love you, honey, and thank you for being you.
so much.
We are. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
It's
And
her
thank
first
you
time
for-
being a videographer too. So
Yeah,
Whoa.
she did great, I think. I don't know. But she
She knows
That's
it so well enough to go over
Yep.
and entertain